Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another one of the seasonal weapons. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Eyes Unveiled, the new linear fusion rifle. Linears are huge this season with the particle reconstruction mod, as well as there being void mods in the artifact, and it just so happens that this thing is both a linear and also void. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the perks that you can get on this weapon, what are some of the best ones, and the ones that you want to look for if you're looking for the god rule. And also, we'll have a review at the end where we just kind of talk about the good, the bad, the unique about the weapon, and just overall everything that I feel about the weapon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and leave a like if you did. And now let's get into it, and the very first thing that we gotta talk about this fusion is how to actually get it. And getting the seasonal weapons is pretty easy this time around. All you have to do is the nether activity, and you can get it from either completing the activity, or also all the secret chests and hidden secrets that are in the activity itself. Now, there's multiple different versions of these weapons. You have the normal version, you have the shiny version with the double perks, and you also have the adept ones, which can use the adept mods. And there's a fourth and very secret version, the shiny adept, which is very rare. So let me know if any of you guys have actually gotten any of those, because I still have not gotten one. Now this linear is a precision frame, and it comes with two different origin traits. The first one is Willing Vessel. Whenever you deal damage or defeat targets with a weapon, you're gonna gain increased stability, handling, and reload speed. The reload speed is really the useful thing here. And the second trait perk, which you can find on the shiny versions of the fusion, is Run It Over. And I think this one works so much better on the fusion, because it does the one thing that fusions love, which is overflowing the magazine. You can basically overflow the magazine based on the number of allies near you. If only one of them is near you, you might get like an extra shot or two. But if you have 5 people near you, you might get a whole like 5-6 shots extra in the magazine without having to like have any overflowing perks. And it's definitely something that the fusion rifle is going to want, and I guess that kind of leads us perfectly into the perks. Now we're going to be taking a look at the perks on both columns. We'll not get in depth on all of them, but we'll take a look at the ones that are the most interesting and the best ones in each slot, since I know that's what you guys are looking for anyways. So let's get into it, and let's start with perk 1. Now these are all the perks that we have in this slot. We have Ambitious Assassin, Overflow, Subsistence, Triple Tap, Field Prep, Perfect Float, and lastly and definitely least, Headfire Grip. Basically with this fusion rifle, what we're doing is that we're looking to overflow our magazine, and we have two different ways of doing that. The first one is through overflow, which I think is actually the better one, because whenever you pick up special or heavy ammo, it immediately just doubles our magazine size and it overflows it. So if you have like 8 in the mag, normally whenever we pick up special, it's going to go immediately to 16. And it doesn't matter if we only had 1 in the mag before, or if we had 8 in the mag, it's always going to go up to 16 whenever we pick up ammo, as long as we have enough ammo. So the requirements for this perk is pretty easy. The only downside with overflow is that you probably would not be able to proc it as easily in the middle of a DPS phase if you went through your whole magazine. But that is also a lot of shots, so I don't think this is really gonna become like much of an issue. Now your other option for overflowing the magazine is gonna be Ambitious Assassin. And while it does overflow your magazine based on the number of kills you get with the weapon, you do have to spend some ammo to even begin to overflow your weapon, which is kind of a big downside, especially if you're trying to save your ammo for like a boss fight or just some of the bigger enemies. You definitely don't want to go around and start killing nats with heavy ammo. Usually you can overflow your magazine a little bit. So even though it's another perk that overflows our magazine, I don't really think it's going to be that great. Another choice that we have is going to be Triple Tap. And while this one doesn't really overflow our magazine kind of like how we want to, it will allow us to shoot the fusion rifle for a little bit longer, since every time that we hit 3 crits, we're going to get 1 bullet straight into the magazine, so we can shoot a couple more shots. Now it's definitely not going to be anything crazy. At most we'll probably proc this like maybe 3-4 times, but that is a couple of extra shots that are definitely going to help us. So considering what we're trying to do with the fusion rifle, I think overflow just kind of works the best, and it's pretty much like the best perk in this slot right here. Now in the second perk slot we have Reservoir Burst, Frenzy, Adagio, Discord, Chain Reaction, Withering Gaze, and also Successful Warm-Up. This is definitely a very interesting perk selection. There's not really that many damage perks. We basically only have Reservoir Burst and Frenzy. And when it comes to the damage perks, the best one is definitely going to be Reservoir Burst. It gives you the highest damage buff, giving you 25% extra damage whenever your magazine is full, and we're going to be taking advantage of this thanks to us being able to overflow the magazine. Basically, all those overflowed rounds are going to have this 25% increased damage. And that's really going to be like the best that we can get when it comes to damage. The other good one would be Frenzy, but it does take a little bit to get going so you can actually activate it, and it's a smaller 15% damage buff. But you do not have to overflow the magazine, so this is pretty much going to be on for the entire DPS phase. Now another perk that I definitely think is interesting in here, even if it's not like a DPS perk, has to be Withering Gaze. This is going to let you apply a weaken buff after aiming down sights with a weapon. This is really great, especially if you don't have any sort of like weakening ability on you, because you basically always have a debuff just built into the weapon, so it can definitely be very nice, and it kind of makes up for the fact that you don't have a damage buff by them just taking straight up more damage from any shot that you fire. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit disappointed on like the weapon perk selection on the second slot. I was hoping it was gonna be better initially, but it has a lot of perks that are more targeted towards ad clear for some reason, and that's just not something people are doing with the linear fish rifles, at least with the heavy ones. And now let's talk about god rolls. What rolls should you be looking for on this weapon? And I think the overall best one is gonna be Overflow plus Reservoir Burst. You're gonna get that extra damage, that extra 25% extra damage on more than just like one shot with Overflow. You essentially get a whole magazine's worth of damage plus one, and if you're just trying to do as much damage as possible with this linear, this is gonna be your best bet. I can see this being pretty great for something like the GMs. Not sure if for raids is gonna be that great or for doing like boss damage, but for GMs and going up against champions, this could definitely put in a lot of work. It's gonna have quite a bit of burst damage, and since there's always a bit of downtime between fighting champions, you can definitely proc overflow in between those champion kills, so you can always have just a ton of ammo to use Reservoir Burst with. Now some of the other interesting ones I think are going to be Overflow plus Withering Gaze, Triple Tap Withering Gaze, and maybe something like Overflow plus Frenzy. So those are basically the ones I recommend that you go for, and the ones that I think are going to be the best. And now let's actually talk about just what I feel about this weapon. So initially when I first got this weapon, I thought it was going to be like a DPS type of linear, but it ended up being something completely different. It seems like Bungie put a lot of like ad clearing perks on this linear for whatever reason, even though that's like the opposite of what linears usually are used for. But even then, you still have a couple of good perks like Reservoir Burst, which will make it okay in like GMs. I think they'll definitely do, which will still make it pretty good in something like GMs, but I definitely don't see anybody using this for like actual boss damage. I don't think that you're really going to be seeing this, considering the huge amount of options, so like good linears that we have in the game, including one this week in the GM, which is probably like the best Swedish rifle in the game. So definitely go get that if you're looking for like a DPS linear, or if you want something that you can do some pretty high damage without any setup. Basically all you have to do is just walk over ammo and you get that free 25% damage buff. I think it's gonna be pretty fine for that. So I'm definitely disappointed with this fusion. I kind of was looking for damage perks considering how cool it looks. I really like the look of the weapon, but it just doesn't. So I don't think it's gonna be using it as much as some way other ones, but I'll probably use it every once in a while if I get a roll. I wouldn't really put this too high on like the god roll priority list. There's definitely some other weapons that you should go first in the season. But with that, that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. Let me know what you guys think about this weapon. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What rolls have you gotten? Tell me all of that in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.